the whole group co-creates, and all of their products and platforms benefit from what we create together. We're not OMI is not a for-profit company. It's not a platform. It's not even a nonprofit. It's literally just an IP agreement that says we won't sue each other. That's it. And it's so straightforward that it's easier to understand if you get involved. It is impossible to own the metaverse,
Right.
right? And we are not building multiple metaverses. So anybody who raises money from investors saying they're building a metaverse is also wrong. There's two choices. And this
Right.
is when I was at a fork in my road. The two choices are we can compete with each other like a
Mhm.
space race to the moon and try to defeat each other or acquire each other, or that old school way of doing business. And for many, that's the path that they've chosen. The other option is to choose to work together and to co-create and see yourself as part of the metaverse rather than competing to be the owner or the origin. XR is kind of like describing the technologies or the experience types of
Mhm.
the metaverse. So XR is the variable X in my definition. So VR, AR, MR, all that's XR.
Right.
And so the metaverse itself it consists of all of the extended reality. It consists of VR and AR, but it also consists of spatial audio, of
Right.
the wet internet, of apps, of games. And I think if I were to be super generic or like really boil it down, I would say that the metaverse is the digital counterpart of our universe. More and more people every day get their first smartphone, and many of the smartphones, thanks to WebXR and these other little portals are getting a taste of AR or VR or even just 360 content, that's pulling them in a little bit. The metaverse itself there's only one, right? Like it's not up for debate. People say, "Oh, it's still getting defined." No, it's not. It's not still getting
Mhm.
defined. It's getting iterated on, as does
Right.
everything else in our life, right? And
Right.
so XR is very much part of the majority of what the metaverse is itself. So you have feasibility, you have viability, and you have usability.
Right.
And these three domains are usually at odds with each other.
Right.
So my trade, what I do is help just align those three things, right? And help ensure that the developers aren't dominating the conversation, the business need isn't dominating the conversation, and that the user need isn't causing everything else to shut down. Like there is a delicate balance between these conflicts that are actually good. These tensions are actually
Right.
good. I made it a personal goal last year to take code more seriously, and so I have since then been on GitHub probably almost every day. I got familiar with Git, got familiar with I knew R from got a master's in data viz, so I knew R. So I had some code experience, but like I wanted to get better with JavaScript, particularly 3JS. So I set out a goal and every day got better and started having projects that I would make. And one of my big projects that I wanted to make for the metaverse, we call it XR Showcase. And so
Mm.
xrshowcase.xyz is a open source showcase of WebXR experiences.
Right.
Building that, I did that on my own. I would ask a couple people for help every now and then, but like for the most part, it's all me. And I put it out there hoping that folks would remix and build on top of it and make it their own. To date, nobody's done that. Nobody has remixed it or made it their own. And that kind of helped inform the strategy of like, even though this is a good idea, people want to make their own thing. Like they want to be the founder, they want to be the starter. And so that kind of helped reinforce the goal of Angel doing what we originally set out to do, and that is empowering other people to become creators. Is because even when I put something out there that helps others, showcases others' work, people's like it, like uh folks weren't flooding to build on top of it. And it was a tough lesson to learn, right? I still maintain it. It's still up. It still promotes work, and some folks appreciate it, and that's nice.
Yeah.
In the metaverse, I'm often the one who's promoting these agile things, and it feels kind of good. But like I know that that's where a lot of these projects could improve greatly is just practicing some good habits, tracking the work that they want to get done, not just relentlessly sprinting ahead. It's kind of like building the community without having any path to revenue, right? Like I don't have any diabolical plan to start charging these people to be part of the community. Like none of that stuff's really about it. It's about getting the right people in the room so
Right.
that they work together so that we can make the things that we intended to make. It's a safe space. And so
Right.
just simply creating these ecosystems is the majority of my effort because it's laying the foundation to then be able to do the other things that we want to do
Right.
without rushing into complication just to feel important. We need to make the open metaverse as desirable or more desirable than a walled garden or closed system. And the only way to do that is by acknowledging that every time one of us succeeds, it lifts the rest of us up. Well, it
Right.
could lift the rest of us up if we opt in, right? Like,
Yeah.
um, you might be a creator of a Western style experience and say, I don't want any space themed avatars. You're
Right.
not a jerk for saying no space themed avatars. That you shouldn't be a jerk for that, right? Like that should be okay. It's your creative decision to make that choice. And so I think being respectful and seeing that each of our accomplishments individually help lift up the overall network, I think that that's really the key to success here with the metaverse. And so we're going to see that folks who create methods of interoperability or integration that will never have a path to revenue are just as important, if not more important, than the folks who are building consumer facing applications that let you build an avatar or something to that effect. I just want to be a catalyst in that champions both the for profit but also the not for profit because it's all part of something bigger. Um, yeah, and I
Right.
think that that's imperative to the metaverse being successful. So it's worth pursuing.